everybody, my name is Christy Wood, and I'm going to be kind of reviewing my intro to the Maya software with Autodesk for my Shading and Lighting 1 class with the LA Film School. Some of the key things I'm going to be going over is identifying and kind of explaining in my thoughts of what certain things I'm going to be using in this class are, and kind of locating them where they are. Creating different polygonal shapes and going over hotkeys of how to transform the shapes as well as move the camera around, and then also kind of in a way breaking my little setup here and then showing how to reset it into this organized workspace. So starting off, I'm going to locate my outliner, which is going to be right over here, and this is my toolbox, which shows I have my select tool, my lasso tool, paint selection tool, move tool, rotate tool, and scale tool, which I'll be going over the hotkeys for those in a minute. But this is essentially my toolbox, like I would also have in Photoshop. And right here, if I click this little thing, this is my outliner. It's going to basically have all of my different nodes and such in my scene. And this kind of shows me different perspective, the different cameras, perspective, top, front, and side, and then different lighting and object settings. And as I make and create my objects, it'll kind of add to it. And then over here on the right here that I have actually opened is my channel box and my layer editor. And right now there's nothing in it, but if I were to say create a sphere, this would show my the different things I do, translating, rotating, scaling, and then just the visibility in general, all on the different axes, which is the X, Z, and Y. And if I were to access any of these, this is my Y-axis, and as I move this around, you can see the numbers change here. But if I want to say have a set thing of 5 on each, I have it set, and there we go. And if I want to rotate it, 10, 2, and 5. Scale it to 4, 4, 4. It still has its round shape. And then this is just if I want to turn it on or off. But I'm going to go ahead and create a new scene just for sake of ease of access. So that's what my channel box, and this is if I were to add multiple layers. And then we're going to go down, it's right generally in the same section as the channel box. I have my attribute editor, and again, if I make a shape, it shows all the different things I can do with it, kind of more, some in relation to transform, but even more past that. It shows node behavior, render stats, I can change texture, space controls of it. It gets really more into the more advanced stuff I'm not going to be quite going over yet in my class. But that's essentially what it is. It goes furthermore past the transform, getting into more specifics of how an object works. Like I said, this is my toolbox. If I come up here, this is my shelf. And this is different stuff that it's kind of chosen out of all these different drop-down windows that are what I use more commonly during all this, and I can even create my own custom one if I wanted to as I go further in the class of the main tools that I use, and I can create it up here if I don't necessarily want to use all the hotkeys for it, which will, I'm sure, be useful in the future. But yeah, that's pretty much all of those and kind of what their uses are and such. So I'm going to go ahead and again create a scene. And then, so I'm going to be creating 3 different polygonal shapes. I have my polygonal plane, and kind of some of the hotkeys to go with this to make it easier for me to transform it, move it, rotate, and such, and rather than necessarily coming over here and clicking any of these keys. So if I have it selected, which I do, I can click R, which allows me to scale, and I can either use any of these to scale on a specific axis, or I can click this here, and this allows me to scale it to the plane itself, or I can make it small and then turn it upside down. But for now, I'm just going to scale it to size here. I can click W, which allows me to move it along each of the axes. So I'm going to move along the X. Just kind of move it over here for a minute, just keep it out of my way. Then I'm going to create a sphere, and I like the size of that. I'm going to go ahead and keep that its size. And then I'm going to create a cube, and this one I will again select R and scale that up to size a little bit more. And then kind of to get a better camera angle, I'm going to Alt and left mouse button click and kind of turn my camera angle, and this is basically my rotate or tumble camera, so I can see everywhere, going based off of this as my centerpiece here. And then if I wanted to kind of see everything a little bit more, since this is kind of out of view and I want it to be a little bit more centered, I'm going to put this backward about right there and hit Alt and right mouse button, and I can zoom in or out, just kind of going along the side. And then just because I want to get a little bit better view, I'm going to Alt and middle button click, and it allows me to move the whole scene left and right, and that's my pan or translate camera. And I'm going to say I put it right there, move this over a bit because it's a little far off to the right. Move this one over a bit. And a little bit more, and as you can see, the plane is significantly bigger than the cube, which is even more bigger than the sphere, so it's kind of my biggest to smallest here. Now if I wanted, so right now what we're seeing is them all in the shaded form, which is just right up here in my little menu thing. And if I were to click 4, it would show me the wireframe, and as it shows, wireframe display is now on. So now it's kind of, this one's going to be a little bit more difficult to see because it kind of blends in with the background and everything here is kind of blending in. So that's going to make it kind of difficult to locate all my stuff. If I click 5, it takes me back to my shaded display as it shows. And then if I come up here and I click this, it shows the wire and the shaded, which if I come over here, I'm going to click F so I can kind of focus on this one specific shape. This allows me, if I was in character modeling or any sort of kind of modeling and setting thing, I can take each of these faces and I can model them or create them more personally, and it's really useful in the future if I'm working with a team or trying to show off what I've created for people to see. Here they can see the shaded and they can see where each thing and how I created something and such, and it's kind of neat. Moving on, that's pretty cut and dry. So for purposes of my next piece, I'm going to create a new scene, just kind of get this set back up. Now, right up here, this is a new thing they set up in Maya, which is a lock pad. So right now, if I click it, it's on. I can't move any of my menu stuff. It's all kind of just, it's stuck there. And if I come here and I wanted to add in a new window, like, let's see, animation, rendering. Okay, let's say render view. I can't add this anywhere in here, but if I were to click the little padlock again and unlock it, I can click it and there we go, I've added it And I'll go ahead and add a few more just random animations layer. Really should editor. So let's put that right there. Oof, there we go. It's starting to get a little bit chaotic. Let's go to modeling. We'll do modeling tool. Nope. Here we go. Let's say component editor. There we go. We'll add this. Sure, right there. That sounds good. And we'll do UV editor. And I'm just going to come over here and put this in there. Okay, so now it's kind of extremely chaotic. There's a lot going on here. You can see this is very small and I can't really do much with it. So trying to do anything at all would be extremely complicated and really hard to work with. So I don't want to deal with this. So up here I have my workspace. Right now I'm on Maya Classic, and if I click out to post sculpting, they're set for that, and I go back to Maya Classic. I still have this crazy bejumbled mess. Now I could just take out each individual one that I created, but that would be kind of complicated, and try and hope and pray that it goes all back to its specific settings I liked. And if I say did that, oh, now I have to deal with that part here, kind of just out in the middle of nowhere. So I'm going to go ahead and take care of that out here. I'll come back, and I have this little going all down through all stuff. I reset current workspace, so I'm going to hit reset, and there is my beautiful and wonderful setting again. If I want the outliner to show, that's with the ease of this button here again, just if I want it to show or not. But now it's more organized again, and I can eventually set up my own workspace just and have it saved in the settings there. But for now, I'm just going to stick with this. But yeah, so guys, that is my kind of demonstration and review of Maya, and kind of what my different understanding is right for now. It's pretty cut and dry. It does seem really complicated with all the buttons and such, but once you start getting into it, it gets kind of more with ease. But I'm really excited to be getting into the shading lighting class and working with this. I kind of messed with it on my own. I created a little stick figure person earlier, just as an idea for my husband. So just being able to understand how each thing works, and having different hotkeys. Hotkeys for me was a little bit harder to work with Photoshop, but this one is a lot more, it's kind of set, and you can customize the hotkeys later to kind of personalize them to you, but for now I'm not going to worry about that. So thank you everybody, and I can't wait to do more videos for each of my classes. But yep, this was my video for my understanding of Maya. Bye!